Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's BattleBrad here, and today I will be showing you Global Agenda Free Agent. Global Agenda is commonly known as an MMO FPS, which is a first-person shooter, but it takes on the sort of traditional roles you'd find in an MMORPG, so you have things like skill points and everything else you'd come to expect from a AAA MMO. So today I'll be looking at the basics of Global Agenda, and in the future I'll be showing you some other parts of the game. So if we just go ahead and log in, and straight away here you'll see that I'm on the character select screen. You'll also be able to see that I have one of every class. This is the Recon, you can see here. Now the Recon is generally your sort of sniping person, or you can get up close and you can use swords. He is generally what you would expect from a sniper. He can infiltrate. It's pretty nifty. He can go into stealth. But yeah. Here is the medic. The medic is what you would expect from a medic, really. They can heal, but quite unusually, if you decide that you would rather be a damage dealing medic, you can actually spec into poison, so you can deal damage over time. Next we have here robotics. Now robotics is the sort of engineer, so to speak, so they will build things like gun turrets, healing stations, stations that give you power, which is the resource in the game. And yeah, they also use their own weapons, which are SMGs typically. And then you've got the assault. The assault is the big heavy dude, can take a lot of damage, but in this case can deal it out as well. Usually these guys are equipped with miniguns, and they're pretty difficult to kill. But for today I'm going to be using my Recon because I love the Recon. The Recon's my highest level class, so I'm going to go ahead and go into the game. Right, so even from the character selection screen, the first thing you'll notice is the graphics in this game. The graphics are astounding. The engine is the Unreal Engine, so I mean, you should be expecting some pretty high quality graphics, but from just having a look here, just the characters, the surroundings, everything is just stunning quality. I'll just run around here and you'll see it just looks fantastic. This is actually the game on maximum settings, other than one option, which is that I have dynamic shadows disabled, because with quite a lot of people online, this effect can slow down the game. So already you'll see other players running around the world, but yeah, we'll just get straight into this. So this is the dome. On Global Agenda there are dome cities, and in the dome cities you will find everything you will need. You'll find shops for not only vanity items but actual gear and weapons, places to upgrade your gear, places to craft, places to get pets, but also the mission central. There are also a few quests around here that you can pick up. But yeah, we'll start off in the dome. So here's the dome travel. And using dome travel, you can travel in between the domes, so they're sort of like instances. So as you can see here, it tells you the population and what the dome number is. I'm currently in Dome City 2, which you can also see in the top right-hand corner of the screen. So yeah, if your friends are in other domes, you'll have to obviously go to those domes and join up with them. So we'll head straight on into the center here. And this is the center of the hub, the central hub. You can see it on the screen there. And here you can use navigation points to help you sort of find your way around the dome. And there is also a missions interface here where you can access the missions. So we'll just quickly touch upon the missions. There are different sorts of missions in Global Agenda. First of all, there's Special Ops. Now, Special Ops is basically a 4-player cooperative instanced dungeon, so to speak. It's not really a dungeon, but we'll just call it a dungeon for the sake of it. As you level up, you unlock different security. So you start off as medium security. which is for levels 5 to 19. Then you can go on to high security, which is level 18 onwards. And I'm sorry about that. If you can hear that, that's my phone going. But we'll just ignore that for now. That'll end shortly. There you go. Next is maximum security, which requires level 25. Ultramax, which requires 30, and double agent also requires 30. So upon reaching level 30, you can unlock all of these different securities. Now would be a good point to tell you that level 50 is currently the maximum level in the game, but like I said, upon reaching level 30 you can near enough do most things that are in the game. So then there's Mercenary. Now Mercenary is essentially PvP. Now there are different sorts of PvP games. There's Control, Breach, Acquisition, Payload, and Scramble. And the way these work are like pretty much most other games that you'd expect. Control is all about controlling points. Payload is about delivering the payload, sort of like the Team Fortress payload. Breach and Acquisition, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure about the game modes, but I'm hoping we will be able to have a look at some of them. But I mean, there's one, for example, where basically there are two teams. You each start in your own base, but in the enemy's base is a robot that your team can control. I believe that's Acquisition, and the objective is for you to get to the enemy base, get one of your people into the robot, and get the robot back to your base without it getting blown up, essentially. It's really, really fun, but it's also very heavily dependent upon teamwork, because without teamwork there's not really a lot you can do. Raids are your typical raids. There are raids on the Dome City all the time, and there are raids on the Sonaran Desert, which is the open area within the game. Basically, you need to be level 30 for these, or level 40. So, yeah, these are sort of what you would consider endgame PvE content. Then you have the arena. The arena is essentially an arena. There's not really much to say about that. That is what you expect. It's another PvP option. And then you have AVA. Now, AVA stands for Alliance versus Alliance. And basically, within the game, you and your friends can build alliances and get members. And then there's this map here, which is full of these hexagons. And the objective is to control as much of this land as possible. There are seasons, and they're all split up, and you need to build resources, and it can end up costing you quite a bit of the in-game money, but also a very fun experience. So that's a general mission rundown. So we've got several sectors now that we can head to. The technology sector, the Hall of Legends, and the market sector. So to begin, we are going to head up to the technology sector. Here we'll be able to talk about the sort of skill points that each of the classes have. So here is Proteus, which is the Center for Neural Reprogramming. Now in here, this is where you can assign skill points. Really? You don't actually have to be in this building to do it, but I'm kind of unsure as to its objective at the minute, because you can reallocate your skill points literally anywhere on the go. I don't think it can be done when you're in a cooperative mission or in a PvP game, but if you're out of that and you're in either anywhere in the dome, or I even think you can be sort of out in the open world, you can just do it there. So we'll have a look at the programming screen. So right, straight away you'll notice there are 3 trees: Balanced, Infiltration, and Marksman. Now these 3 trees are individual to the oh, what's the name of this class? I forget already. Oh goodness gracious me, this is not good, is it? Never mind, it will come to me. It will come to me. Anyway, so there's Balanced, Infiltration, and Marksman, and you can spec into whatever you want here, and yeah, at any point you can change it. So the Balanced tree, you're looking at things like reducing the power cost of all your different abilities. So there's one here which gives you increased damage, and you know, there's just loads of general buffs around here, so they'll all come in handy. Infiltration is definitely about the close quarters combat. Here you've got things that increase your movement speed, your melee damage, things that allow you to stealth quicker. Yeah, generally everything you would expect from a close quarters sort of assassin. Here is the marksman. Currently I'm spec'd into marksman, just because I prefer using a sniper. So here you can see I've put points into the range, the power cost and the damage. I've also put points into accuracy and effective range. Effective range and range are two completely different things. Basically, in Global Agenda, once you reach a certain point, the amount of damage you do decreases gradually as your distance gets further away until eventually you can't hit them. So your range is generally how far away you can be and still damage. Your effective range is how far away you have to be to do your maximum potential damage. But yeah, so that's that. And then I've got some other points in Eagle Eye, Killer Instinct, Sure Shot, and Sharpshooter. And we're not going to look into all of these abilities because we would be here all day. So yeah, that's that. So we'll leave here. And yeah, I just love being able to change the skills whenever I feel like it. So here's the Geno Lab, which is the facial DNA resequencing. Here you can actually change the way your character looks. It is that simple. You just go in here, you change your hairstyle. So I'll just have a quick look here. There's change player face. So this is currently how I look. A bit weird, mind you, but never mind. Yeah. So you can change how you look there. Cybercuts. Here you can change your hair colour, hairstyle. These are just generally aesthetic changes here. So we'll keep running this way over to the control. Now, control has very little purpose other than quest lines. There isn't a lot you can do in here. You can pick up quests, you can pick up dailies. So this blue exclamation mark is a daily, as you would expect, and yellows are one-offs. So here I can talk and I can pick up different quests. So this medium security quest here basically says I have to win 3 medium security special ops missions, and I can just accept that and go ahead and do that. I'm not going to. There's no need really. I doubt I'll get round to 3 missions today anyway. And here's the agency center. The agency center is where you basically join agencies, recruit with your agency, create agencies, anything like that. So we'll just leave that. We don't need to stay in there for too long. We'll drop down here now. So once you've got an agency and you're doing AVA, here you can get facility deeds, strike force equipment, and strike force victory rewards. So basically, if you do well, you get points, which you can then spend. So here is a die, and this is how it would make my character look. It's called, what's it called? Holo Yellow. It requires level 30 and achievements, but as you can see, that's a pretty bright die. That looks really nice. You can get suits and add-ons to change the way you look. So some of these are quite funky. A little helm there. That's pretty cool. But yeah, you can trade things in as you would normally trade in for rewards in any other game. Sort of like, I'm going to compare this to World of Warcraft briefly. When you do PvP, you get points that you can then trade in for PvP gear and things like that. This is basically nothing. Something will be there eventually, not too sure when, but we're just going to have to be patient and wait for that to come around. So, next we're going to run up here to the market sector. Now, this is my favourite sector, because it's all the other things that you want to buy. So here is Hawks, suits, and armour. So here at Hawks, you can buy helmets, armour, and suits. The thing I love about this game is you could have any suit you wanted, and you wouldn't be restricted in the sense that that suit may look good, but it doesn't have the stats you want, because armour and suits are completely separate. So we're going to go and have a look at the helmets. Basically, the way helmets work, you can get the first set of helmets at level 5, and there's a range of helmets you can select from. You can see me trying these all on right now. Some are more expensive than others. To be perfectly honest with you, I think that's completely irrelevant, because it just changes the way that it looks, to be honest. Then the next set is level 20, so you've got quite a gap there. This is the helmet I'm currently using, Recon Wraith. Upon level 30 you unlock a whole new set, and I think as it goes on, gradually the helmets are looking a lot cooler. And then you have level 40 helmets, which is the final stage at the minute, but this can be reworked at any point. So yeah, some of those helmets are really, really cool.
Some other time. Welcome.
We'll just quickly have a look at the suits before the armor. So suits work in the same way. You actually get helmets and suits which are meant to be together, but you can mix and match. So rather than just going through all of these, I'm just gonna skip to the end and just like, that is definitely a suit that I love. It's really, really nice. So yeah, then obviously your armor. So here you can buy different armor, and it has different stats, and it has different level requirements. So that's one armor salesman, and this other one sells you cheaper armor that at a lower level. So it's sort of like they each sell different sort of varieties of armor there, those two people. Now I'm gonna run here next, because you must all be thinking, oh, but when we saw all those suits, you didn't have different coloured armor. Yeah, basically you can dye. You can dye anything. So these are dye salesmen, and they sell every dye under the sun, and they all sell varying levels of dyes.
Hey there. How you doing?
So one thing you'll notice is that if we go to tier 1 dyes just over here, there should be a white dye, and you can see the white dye there on me. Now, yeah, it's typically a white dye, but when you look at the sheets of armor, you can see that it's somewhat a dirty white. So as you sort of level up and you unlock higher tiers, the dyes that you get are much more clear, they're much brighter, and it's quite apparent that that's the colour. So here is a tier 4 white dye. As you can see, I'm literally glowing. It's a lot cleaner, and it just looks a lot better all round. Now, you're not limited to dye specific helmets as a total, specific suits. You can use any dye on any helmet and any suit, and on any part of it as well, which is something I love. So if I just pull up the in-game menu here, that's my inventory, and if you look at my inventory, you can see I've got a whole range of dyes. The dyes with ticks next to them are ones that are currently being used on my characters. So I'm going to go along and I'm going to have a look at equipment. So, and then I'm going to go along to appearance, because I don't want to give too much away just yet. So here's where your helmet is and your suit, and that's where you can select what suits you want. That's a suit I just got in a quest, but this is the suit I've bought because I love those little spike things on his shoulder. Here you can literally change your helmet to whatever. I also have what are called flares, which are sort of like aesthetic changes. So there's a happy bag. There's an elf mask, so anyone who's seen the advertising campaign for Global Agenda will recognise that. And the Commonwealth Grim, so that's quite cool as well. But I'm going to keep with my proper helmet for now. Then you have dyes. So first of all, you select a primary dye. Currently I have ice selected, but I can change this to whatever I want. You can see that's changing the primary colour of the suit. Then once I've selected the primary colour, which in this case is going to be ice, I can go along and select the secondary. Armour does have its own preset colours, but obviously if you don't like those, this is why the dyes are great, so they're completely optional. For a secondary, I was using gunmetal, which is this sort of somewhere between black and grey. It's quite nice. And for my emissive, which changes all your glowing, I was using gold. I thought that was quite nice, but as you can see, I could change that to anything I wanted, really. Yeah, some of this is quite nice. But for now, I want to use gold. And then you can dye your weapons as well, which is always fun. So in this case, I'm going to use a white dye, and the emissive I'm going to use a black, because why not? Why not? Yeah, so that's that. You can also dye the trail of your jetpack. This is something that was recently added, and I'm not sure how to do that just yet. So yeah, we'll click on to the next tab here. So this is where your armor is stored, and here you can see I've got armor on, and all this armor can be repaired. So you can see if I've taken a durability loss, I can just click repair, and I'll say yes, I want to repair, and that will use one of my repair kits, which I have sitting in my inventory. They're not too expensive at all, really, so that's a great way to just keep your stuff working. And now we're going to move along to weapons. This is what you've all been waiting for. So you have different sets for everyone of sort of what weapons you have available, but the types of slots that you have are all the same. So for example, here's melee. Everyone will have a melee weapon. Just because for the recon, there you go, the recon, I remembered its name. Just because the recon has a ghost sword doesn't mean every other class will have a ghost sword. So the medic, for example, has almost like a small dagger which poisons whoever he melee attacks. The heavy has a giant axe, and I believe that the robotics uses a wrench. Here's the ranged weapon. So at the minute I'm using a ballista. The ballista's a sniper. You can have a look at its damage, its power cost, its fire rate, its range, and its durability. The speciality is essentially a slot where you can put in a special sort of offhand device. Here, this is sprint stealth. It stealths me and allows me to move really quick. Everyone in this game gets a jetpack. So yeah, that I don't really know what to say. Hands-free jetpacks. Basically, you press jump and you'll jump. You hold in jump and your jetpack will go. Here is Firebomb. Firebomb is basically a bomb that I can throw on the ground and it will explode and ignite all nearby enemies and deal an initial damage as well. Another second offhand device is my Bionics, which is an escape system that increases my move and my jump speed, so it just speeds up your travelling. My third offhand device is Decoy, which basically creates a clone of me that will automatically taunt all mechanical enemies. So there are different sorts of enemies. Mechanical are very, very common, so that's quite useful. And then you've got a boost. Basically, everyone will have their own unique boost in the game. Some classes will have multiple boosts that you can select from. And basically, once your morale reaches 100, you can activate your boost, and that's a team-wide boost. So it's basically the move that's going to help your entire team. And then you have a consumable. So the next thing I'm just going to quickly look at is, you can see here it says Ballista D. Now these letters represent something. So a D is going to represent what? Dun dun dun. Yeah, you got it. It represents damage. So this is plus 4% range damage. Basically, you can have different effects on everything. So on this offhand device, I have C, which is minus 2% cooldown. You can have up to 3 of these bonus effects on your equipment, but obviously the more effects, the more it's going to cost, and the harder it will be to find. So that is generally that. You probably will have just heard a siren sounding in the back, so I'm just going to quickly run over here. I'm going to show you that big flashing red thing. That means a raid has begun. You can see all the screens down there have gone red. They were blue before. So a raid's begun, and a lot of people are going to start doing raids. Right. All this gear, where do you get it from? You get it from quests, you get it from mob drops, and you get it from shops like these. So there's a shop for every class. Medics, Assault, jump down here, Robotics, and my favourite, the Recon shop. In here, you can buy basic gear for money, or agenda points, which is the sort of the paid currency, so to speak. So in this shop, I can basically buy the basic weapons and the basic equipment, but they do not have any effects. So what's the best way to describe them? They're sort of just like, we'll call them normals. And then you have advanced gear. Now, advanced gear is basically, they've all got their own effect. The effect they have is preset, and as you can see here, you can go up to items with 2 effects. So here is a move called Sensor Boost, and it's the group move that will have all these buffs on your team globally. And the MM means you've got a decrease in morale twice, but just because there's 2 effects doesn't mean they have to be the same. So here on this standard mine, XD, that means you get an increase in damage and an increase in AoE radius, the X being the AoE radius. So you can have different effects. As you can see here though, they're not purchasable with in-game currency. The reason being, in-game currency is quite easy to obtain, really, if you have elite status. Tokens, on the other hand, aren't as easy to obtain. You get a limited number every game, you get some for quests, I believe, but, you know, it just means that you can't really play the market and have an unlimited supply of money. So you can't go to the auction house and buy things for a small number of tokens, sell them out for a high number of tokens. They are literally there to say, right, you are only going to be able to get this if you actually have earned, if you've earned it. So that's something I really, really like about this. What I'm going to do now, actually, is I'm just going to have a little look here. I want to get a an upgrade. At the minute, I have a ballista, but there's a new weapon I can get. It's called the Scorpia. So here's the Scorpia, and it gives me an increased range damage. I don't have 2,000 tokens. As you can see, I have 1,387. So there's no way I'm going to go for the double damage. To be honest, that might be something I consider later on, but for right now, we're just going to leave that, because I'm sure once I hit level 30, there's going to be a whole load of weapons that open up for me. So here I'm just going to select this new gun, the Scorpia D, and I'm going to purchase this. So I'm going to go ahead and buy it, and I'm going to buy it for tokens, because I do not have any agenda points.
Thanks, buddy.
So I now have the Scorpia D, and thank you too. I'm going to go ahead and equip this straight away. So I'm pulling up my equipment menu, going on to weapons, selecting my ranged gear, and I'm just going to have a little gander at what's here. So as you can see here, the increase in damage is near enough nothing. It's really not that different. However, the Scorpia gives me minus 40% healing on target for 5 seconds. So that's beneficial, because as a sniper, the only real issue I have is that I really need to be able to kill people quite quickly. And if I've got a medic there that's healing the person I'm trying to kill, that's going to make life really difficult. So reducing their healing by almost half is really going to make sure that I get that kill quickly, and the medic can't really do a lot about it. Obviously, here, it gives me minus 10% target protection for 5 seconds. However, it only fires while I'm scoped. Now that is a big restriction, because there's no such thing as no scopes. There's no such thing as firing quickly either. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Scorpia for now. I'm just going to see how that works. But I'm also just going to take a quick look over here at superior gear. Superior gear is the best gear you are going to find. Basically, it's really, really good. And you can get a whole range of things with 3 bonus effects. So we're going to leave the shop now. We've seen all of these shops down here. Go for a little run. He looks awesome, doesn't he? So, oh, a little bit of FPS lag there. Sorry about that. It's the fraps. Yeah, we're just going to go and have a look at the prototyping center. This is basically where you craft you craft blueprints. So you can, well, you craft mods, so to speak. So you can buy your armor mod blueprints or your weapon mod blueprints. I'll just show you what one of these looks like.
What can I do you for?
And here you can buy your blueprints, and it will basically create a mod that you can use on a weapon to increase damage or whatever other effects you want. So you can basically buy a basic weapon and mod it as much as you want to make it as good as you want. So I've already actually bought a blueprint, so I'm going to go ahead and open it up, and you can see I bought a weapon damage mod. Now, I need 17 metal scraps and 4 simple power cells. Now, I only have 2 simple power cells, but I have 24 metal scraps. Unfortunately, I can't really do a lot unless I have those extra 2 simple power cells. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my way over here to the auction house. Now, the auction house is something you only unlock if you're an elite member. An elite member is basically where you pay a one-off fee and you gain access to things like auction house, and basically for lifetime you double your credit and exp gain. Some people don't like the idea of this, but Global Agenda was originally created as a game you purchase, and I bought the game when it originally came out a couple years back, I think, and since then they made loads of additions. So the first thing they did was they added boosters, and boosters are basically something you can buy and it doubles your exp and your credit gain for a limited number of time, but it also gives you other abilities. So it means you can jetpack around the Dome City to help you travel faster. That's just one of the many benefits. So then instantly all of us who bought the game felt a little bit cheated, because we'd bought the game, we'd pay the set amount, and now everyone else was better than us because they'd gone and spent real money. Not so much better, but they were able to level up faster, and it put us at a significant disadvantage. Then the game went free to play, so rather than sort of restricting people further, they just created a level below what was already in state. So free to play people just don't have access to the auction house, they don't have access to all the chat features, and they don't get the sort of the double XP that you would expect. So yeah, you can just quickly have a look here. If I open up the escape menu here, you can say my status is an elite agent, and here you can see I have no active booster. So we're just going to quickly use the auction house here. Righty-ho, the auction house works like any other auction house in any other game. What I needed was a simple power cell, so I'm going to search for simple power cell. And I have to select a category, so I'm going to click on component. And here you can see simple power cells. I need to buy 2 of these, so I'm just going to click buy. I'm going to put in a quantity here. I'm just going to click buy. I've just bought 2 simple power cells, and you can see I've got a message. I'm also just going to add in some auctions of my own. So I'm just going to sell all of that duroplasty. Will I? You know what? I think I'll keep that for now, because I've never actually done crafting before, and I might need some of these components later on. So I'm just going to run over to shipping and receiving. Run up to one of these people and open the mail menu, and here you could see I've cancelled my auction, so I can take back my duroplasty and delete the message. And here I've got my 2 simple power cells that I needed. So now I'm just going to run back over here to the crafting area. And you do need to be here to craft. So here I'm just going to open up the crafting menu, and I now have enough simple power cells and enough metal scrap. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create one of those. And then I can go ahead and close that now, because I have my weapon mod. Now over here, the mod imprinting. I believe this is where you add the mods. So I'm going to go right ahead and I'm just going to have a look at what I have here. Right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop the Scorpio in. And here you could see I have a weapon damage mod, and it gives me plus 3% damage. So I'm going to combine those 2. And now you could see I'm DD. This is great, obviously, because I have an increase in damage. I've added the mod. I have a much greater damage. So yeah, that makes it more of a beneficial weapon to me now, because whereas this had the typical 994 damage, this is going to have the additional 3%. It's going to allow me to shoot without scoping, which was always an annoyance. So yeah, that doesn't actually add it directly onto the damage. You can sort of see below that there was a plus 3% sign. So just going to ignore this lag for a bit. This is a very, very computer intense game, so I'm surprised how well it's been going, to be honest. Yeah, I think that is pretty much everything. There's just a bit down here. There's a burning fashion. Not at all sexist. Yeah. So here you can buy cosmetic things. So they sell like really funky dyes. So and flares. So there's a flare there. There's another flare. But obviously the dyes are what are really funky.
Sorry, I don't take.
But we'll leave that. And here's the pet craft, where basically you can create pets and buy pet blueprints. I'm not sure. See, I could see the components here, which is pet molds and DNA binding kits. Unfortunately, I have no idea how to obtain those yet. The DNA binding kit. As you can see, that costs a lot of tokens, so that's obviously something I'm going to do once I've sort of got everything I want. And that leads us on to the final little area, which is in here, called the Hall of Legends. So we'll just run down into the Hall of Legends. And what is the Hall of Legends? Well, you're about to find out. The Hall of Legends is this. The Hall of Legends is a list of all the top agencies from all the seasons and who won. So, yeah. There you go. Nice little animation there with the sort of almost credit styles. So we'll just get off of that. But that is that. So it's nice to have that little section dedicated to all of those people who have obviously put a lot of effort into what they were doing. And here we are again. The next thing we'll be doing in the next video is having a look at some of the missions. So, yeah, we're going to wrap it up here. All I have to say, quickly, is I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you like, favourite, subscribe, and I hope you watch the next one. So, yeah, leave comments below, let me know what you think, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.